Allison Borland. I'm from Technology and Education, and I'm pleased to share an interview as part of the professional series that we have. And today I've got Robin Grille, her leading psychologist in Australia.
I'd say so. Thank you for the leading part. I'm happy with that.
That's fantastic, Robin. And this is a unique opportunity to share this time with you because you're very busy all the time. So thank you very much for being part of our session today.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for the opportunity.
Now we're going to be asking you a few interview questions. Robin, I was just wondering, what led you to be a psychologist?
I think from maybe when I was 14 years old, I became just fascinated by how we do relationships, the universe that exists inside each person. I'll probably never stop being fascinated by the way that we think, and what is it that drives our behaviour, what is it that drives our attitudes, the way that we manifest the passions that we have in the world, the way that we connect with one another, and how much of that we're not necessarily aware of in the moment. That's what makes psychology for me such an interesting mystery.
Wow, that sounds really exciting. You've also got another title of a psychotherapist. Can you tell the audience a little bit of the difference between a psychologist and a psychotherapist?
Well, I guess to put it most simply, psychology is about the theory. Psychotherapy is just one of the things that you can do with psychology. So, a lot of psychologists don't do psychotherapy. They might work in advertising or in personnel management. Psychotherapy is counselling, but counselling that goes a little bit deeper, a little bit more long-term for some of the more the life kind of issues, life crisis issues, issues of development, people in midlife crisis, people that are wanting to change their career, and some of the more difficult to shift issues of relationship between partners or between parents and their children.
When I looked at your biography as well, you are actually an author of 2 books.
Yes.
You have Heart to Heart Parenting, and what is your other book?
Parenting for a Peaceful World was my first book. And
that's been pretty dynamic, hasn't it? But both here in Australia, New Zealand and in America.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm very happy with that. It's led to a lot of invitations to speak in New Zealand, the UK, and the United States, and in a lot of regional and capital cities in Australia as well.
So what led you to be an author? What was one of the things that sort of drove you into that direction? Because you're obviously a very busy person.
Yes, well, I'm just as happy being busy writing. I do really enjoy writing. Writing, I get time to really think about how I want to deliver an idea that I feel I want to share with people. It's such a great way to reach. When I'm doing psychotherapy, I'm talking to 1 or 2 people at one time. When I'm writing and when I'm doing my seminars, it's a way of speaking to hundreds, sometimes thousands of people, which is very, very satisfying, also very, very humbling. And my books are about parenting because I always learn how much our childhood experiences influence how we see the world, how we even choose the relationships that we're attracted to, our careers, the way that we work, the way that we organise into a society and into a family has so much to do with our childhood experiences. And it's not that childhood locks us or determines us into being one kind of person and that's it, we're stuck. But it's through understanding that formula that we can gain so much more freedom to choose the kind of person that we want to be. So that's why parenting is so important.
And it is very important. I hope a lot of people out there that are parents that are thinking of being, probably looking at different ideas that they can do, please look Robin up. He has a website and we can actually put you, if you look at the bottom of the screen, we can talk you through that. And if there's any questions at all that you want to ask Robin, I'm sure that he will take your emails as well. There's one other thing I want to ask you. You're a musician, I believe.
Yes, that was my first career actually, if I can call it a career. I did play guitar, not so much now. I play percussion instruments and I sing. And
so professionally?
Yeah.
You do that now?
Yes. Less that I'm so busy with the seminars and the writing and the psychology, but yeah. In the weekends, I get into the telephone booth and I change into my Superman costume and I go out as a musician. And I play mostly jazz and swing at the moment.
Wow.
And it's a balance. It's a beautiful balance. You know, both the music feeds the work of psychology, and the psychology takes me to a deeper place that kind of, I think, empowers me as a musician as well. In terms of connecting, music is another language. It's another way to connect with people. It's a non-thinking but feeling way to touch people and to be touched. I love it.
So would you think, as some advice for parents, that it'd be really good to have a balance in their life, in their work life and their home life?
Yes, I think we could all stand to, in the modern world, to play more and for play to be, I think, trusted more as an avenue, as even a way of working, a way of being together as a family, but a way of working and a way of learning. If only education in the classroom could be more playful, less scary and intimidating, and more about what the children want to play with. The human brain, the whole human body and nervous system learns and absorbs so much more, and we open up our hearts so much more when our engagement is playful. And for things to be playful, they need to be, for a child in a learning situation, they need to be related to the child's natural passions and interests. So that implies that education needs to be moving towards a model that's a little bit more democratic and more negotiated.
So would you say then that the children need the rich experience so that they can learn? And if education systems took that on board, the children would learn a lot better and retain the information that they learn?
Retain more, and they do. I mean, that's the experience. All of the classrooms around the world that are evolving into the more emergent curriculum is the buzzword. It just means children getting a little bit more choice of how they learn and what they learn, so that they can play with their learning, and they find huge dividends. Not only that children learn better quality of learning, as you were saying, much better retention. They're more self-driven. You don't need to push them into the classroom anymore. They want to get there. Now, I've heard from so many children that will fake being well in order to get to their classroom, even when they've got a cold, because they'd rather be there than anywhere else. And they absorb. We all do. We all absorb so much more when we're engaged in a playful way. People think playful behaviour is all about climbing trees and being noisy. Not always. That's one style of play. Sometimes it's very quiet absorption. But when it's meaningful and pleasurable, wow. The question then is, how do you stop children from learning? Not how do you get them to learn. How do you stop them from learning? They're so hungry. All children are scientists, naturally. Very, very hungry to know this, miraculous world that we live in.
Yeah, so the experience and what happens next and then what follows is all part of the learning.
It is. And the other dividend that's very interesting, the more that classrooms become about the child's passion, not just forcing them to all do the same thing that we, now do your maths, now do your geography. When it becomes more about the child's passion, the other unexpected dividend is that the children behave better. And I'm hearing these reports in every culture around the world. Bullying goes down. Victimization goes down. Because, and it makes sense. When children feel really valued in the classroom, they're not interested in beating each other up. And when they're given something to do that really, really engages their attention, they feel more valued, then they value others. Children behave as a mirror of how they've been behaved towards. So if we want children to not be bullies, let's not bully them. And enforced styles of learning is a kind of bullying.
So when we look at, if we do the flip side and we look at parenting and what's happening with parents and what they're doing at home in just everyday practice, there's a lot of things that parents can sort of learn through play as well. So I think we'll stop on play, because if we stay on play,
Yes.
you and I will be playing together and we'll be having so much fun that we won't be able to continue on and do any further. So thank you again, Robin, very much for this interview.
Thank you.
Thank you to the audience, and I hope you really enjoyed listening to Robin Grille, leading psychologist in Sydney. Thank you.
Thanks, Alice.